Welcome back to Face the State. I'm Ariana Bennett. Thank you for staying with us. And while electric cars are gaining in popularity, they still have a pretty small share of the market. So lawmakers in this last legislative session passed a new incentive program that might just boost those sales. I'm back with Tom Polakalis to talk about all of that. Tom, thank you once again for your time.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so SB 145 creates some incentives, but not necessarily for cars, right? Let's talk about that.
That's correct. So we're taking a look at the infrastructure, meaning the charging stations. If you're driving an electric vehicle, where do you plug in? If you're heading out to work, to business, and those types of charging stations are what we're talking about. There's now a pool of money that has been available to a number of clean energy technologies. Now electric vehicles can apply for that pool of money too. So that's an exciting new opportunity for those of us that are electric vehicle enthusiasts.
Why do you think the state is, aside from maybe wanting to make Tesla more successful, why is the state pushing for more sales of electric vehicles?
Primarily economics and environmental benefits. Electricity is the cleanest fuel that's available to Nevadans. It's also the cheapest. So every time somebody drives an electric vehicle, that means that we're displacing that equal amount of gasoline that would have been imported into Nevada. We don't produce gasoline, we can produce electricity. So we're shifting from an import to something that we produce locally. So that has a tremendous economic benefit. Also, electricity being a clean fuel, anytime that we are driving in the Truckee Meadows, with internal combustion engines, we're putting out a certain amount of particulates, nitrous oxide, et cetera. Electric vehicles reduce that by 90+%. So the air is cleaner in both Washoe County and Clark County when we go electric vehicles. So those are the benefits for those of us that are not driving electric vehicles at this point in time, is that we have economic opportunities and also cleaner air fundamentally.
Now, will these incentives be available to individuals, or is it mostly for people just building the infrastructure?
So building the infrastructure means that most likely it's going to be businesses, government entities. City of Reno would be a good example to have electric vehicle charging stations downtown within the area that the city's proximate to. Can be businesses. And there's also coupled with an amount of money that Volkswagen was penalized for falsifying the emissions from diesel engines. So there's another amount of money that's coming down uniquely to offset emissions. So this is a good opportunity for the state of Nevada to really help electrify transportation, which the Governor's Office of Energy has already embraced with the Nevada Electric Highway. So again, looking for not just Tesla, but also Nissan, Volt, 30 manufacturers are bringing additional electric vehicles to market, and to have Nevada lead on that is something that is really a great economic development, and something that we can really build on to create jobs. And
yeah. So basically it just makes it easier for people who buy electric vehicles to have more opportunities to charge up and
right.
not have to worry about that.
That
makes sense.
Drive to Lake Tahoe, you want to know that you can come back with, if you have a battery range limitation of 60 miles, you want to make sure that you can charge while you're doing, visiting the lake or whatever you've got going on there. So yeah. It's just becoming more prevalent, and something that the state of Nevada will now be able to build on.
Right. Now, also important, I think, the state obviously is incentivizing, or not incentivizing, but pushing energy efficiency. There were a couple of bills that passed to make things more efficient. So you want to give us a little rundown on those? So
energy efficiency is the stake. Sometimes, at least from SWEEP's perspective, it's the cheapest, cleanest, most readily deployed energy resource that we have. So there's tremendous opportunities to make our homes more energy efficient, and those bills that you alluded to provide for new opportunities in products, services, utility programs that can help all of us as consumers save energy and money. So that's something that puts more money into our own pocketbooks, and that's good for local business too. Within the commercial sector, there's also the Property Assessed Clean Energy Bill that passed, AB 5. That's going to facilitate private sector financing of private sector energy efficiency projects. So look for some of the workshops that we'll be doing on explaining some of the details and some of these new programs. And of particular benefit in AB 223 that was sponsored by Assemblyman McCurdy and Assemblywoman Jill Tolles is that the lower income component of our state, those folks that are on a really tight budget, will have new programs that help them save energy and money. And that's going to benefit all of us, because when they can save 20–40% on their energy bill, that's going to mean that we're going to defer the need for more power plant construction, but also it's going to be a great boon for the local business sector. So when they can save money on energy bills, most likely they're going to be spending it in local retail consumer goods and services.
Do you have any examples of how this might work, how these people would save on their
Sure.
energy use?
So, and probably just because the high temperatures in southern Nevada are increasingly on my mind since I'm heading down there. But if you have an apartment or an older structure and a senior citizen that's living there and 117-degree heat, if you're letting the cool air of your air conditioner leak out because it's not properly, the apartment or the home that's older is not properly sealed and insulated, you're wasting a tremendous amount of energy and you're making that living environment much less comfortable for people that are at risk to heat. So some fairly simple measures such as sealing and insulating can reduce an energy bill by 20 to 40% in some cases.
So these people, would they be able to apply for this kind of help and say, look, I think my home or apartment is energy inefficient?
Really what we're looking for is large economies of scale. So utility programs that could go in and address 100 homes or up to 1,000 homes in an area that was built in the 60s or the ballpark timeframe when people were just not as concerned about energy efficiency as we are now. So
yeah.
Today's homes are fairly energy efficient, right? We've got some great builders in both northern and southern Nevada. We'd still like to see them incentivized to achieve even greater energy savings. But the older home stock and particularly multifamily housing can be really, really bad in terms of energy loss.
Yeah, I have a house built in the 1930s. I am very familiar
right.
with this.
So, and probably your heating bill could be
yeah.
reduced substantially by maybe 20, 25%. So those are the kinds of programs, but we want to see those from the utility. And NV Energy was supportive of these bills. They realized the potential to achieve energy savings, so we've got to give them kudos on both AB 223 and also SB 150. They were integral to the development of these bills, and they really see the opportunity to help thousands upon thousands of Nevadans save more energy and money.
When can we expect this stuff to start rolling out?
So some of the process when you're dealing with new programs at the Public Utility Commission level, it takes some time. So what we're looking for, if people are interested in, there is a new broader stakeholder process where people can become involved in that process, either working with organizations such as ours or more directly. But we're going to be looking at proposing energy efficiency programs, working with the utility to design new programs, and then they have to be proposed to the Public Utility Commission. So really from that standpoint, we're looking at a number of months. On the commercial energy efficiency side, City of Reno is undertaking a number of new programs that will assist commercial businesses, and the Property Assessed Clean Energy Loan Program is something that will probably take place more quickly. So we'll be able to look at retrofitting commercial buildings at a faster rate than for those of us in the residential sector.
Okay.
But good things are coming, and really it's going to be something that will benefit thousands of people as we move forward into 2018 into 2019.
Good to hear. Okay, real quick, because we don't have a ton of time left, but I did want to touch on this, the Nevada Clean Energy Fund, something that was created, SB 407.
Right.
Is that a fund where it's going to be public money that goes into this, and where does it come from? Where does it go, basically?
So as it was drafted as the bill, part of the New Energy Industry Task Force, it was called a green bank. So that's kind of it's a loan fund, a revolving loan fund, and part of the need for setting this up and chartering this loan fund was that there's potentially money from foundations and other folks that want to just see clean energy go into place. So whether it be a startup from an outside source of money, that was what was presented at the legislature. It was not going to be public funds going into it, but simply a conduit for money that's out there that will be loaned out with a rate of return under better terms than is available in some other sectors. Now, lenders got involved in some of that, so there are some opportunities where the Energy Loan Fund can mitigate some of the risk that private sector lenders have and actually help them loan even a larger volume for the energy sector.
So this would help people create more clean energy projects.
Correct. I mean,
okay.
Just in a very micro level, if your home needed $5,000 worth of energy improvements, you didn't have that money out of hand or had to put it on a high rate card, being able to borrow over a 20-year time frame at a low rate of interest, you can make a lot of things actually penciled or cash flow so that the money that you save on your energy bill will more than cover the cost of the loan and put money in your pocket. But the way that it does that is stretching out the financing over a longer period of time. There's a number of technologies that have great paybacks over time, but they just need better terms. And so we see both on the energy efficiency side and the renewable side that that energy loan fund will be able to stimulate more economic activity, more projects in Nevada.
Yeah, big changes, lots of projects. We only have a couple minutes left, but I do want to touch on this before we go, and that's that in this massively changing landscape, you know, we've had this old standard system of an energy monopoly. NV Energy supplies energy to 90% of the state, right? They're going to see a loss of business if half of this happens, let alone all of it, or more than we even expect. How will they stay in business, or will we see a completely different type of energy structure that doesn't involve an energy monopoly like NV Energy?
There's, first off, with the incumbent utility, there's an opportunity to not only be a provider of energy, but of energy services. So consumers want comfortable homes, efficient appliances. There are some utilities across the country that are helping their consumers actually save energy, but making money in the provision of those services. There's one utility that actually, an electric utility that installs solar water heaters. So they lose the kilowatt hour sales, but now they have a new business model because their consumers want that type of service. So there's a broad range of opportunities that the utility can participate in. It's a changing business model because technology's changed, so there's different opportunities. Now, if Energy Choice passes, then we're going to see something that really accelerates the need to change, but I see tremendous opportunities. I've worked in the electric utility industry, and when you look at what consumers want and you're willing to provide those products and services, it's actually more opportunity than less.
So adapt or die, that's the message.
It's definitely, technology is creating a whole new landscape, and that's, as you said, adapt or die, or adapt and profit, or probably not die, but make less than one already would possibly be if you'd reduce kilowatt hour sales. So it's a very dynamic field right now, and one that's going to be interesting to see evolve over the next couple of years.
All right, just about 30 seconds left. So do you have a final message? What do you want people to know about, you know, what came out of this session?
It's still, there's so much information. So look to some of the ongoing energy forums that we're having at the UNR Innovation Center. We're going to be conducting those over the next several months. So whether it's home energy saving tips or the new policies or loan programs or whatever, just take a look at coming on down and getting more information, because there's still a lot to get into.
Good to know. We'll get that up on our website as well. All right,
Much
Tom, thank you so much for
your time.
Thank
you, Ariana.
Sure appreciate it. Well, that is it for this episode of Face the State, but for more information or to see past episodes, you can just head to our website. That's ktvn.com. Thank you so much for being with us. We'll see you next week.